In terms of material culture and everyday life, I think there are some commonalities that we can find across the region. First of all, the way people ate was something that was common, as most people would have sat on the floor or a mat on the ground or on a small table and eaten with their hands. Again, this doesn't describe everyone, but many people shared that same way of doing things. Drinking water was what most people did, as things like tea that the Chinese were drinking were not popular when this course began. If you did want to spice up your drink, you could have some palm wine, but the basic stimulant of choice across the region was betel nut. We refer to this as one thing, but it's actually a mixture of three things: the areca nut, the betel leaf, and lime. And when you mix these three together, you get a nice stimulation. You also start salivating, and if you're like me, you start spitting all over the place. But most of the people in the past and the people in the present who chew betel nut are better at it than I am. Nonetheless, this was something very important for the cultures across the region, as it was used in rituals like marriage ceremonies and in welcoming guests, and was an incredibly important aspect of many of the cultures in the region. In fact, if we could really go back in time and look at things before outside ideas transformed many of the societies of Southeast Asia, we'd probably find many things that were common, from the way people adorned themselves through earrings to the practice of tattooing, something that was once widespread across the region, but which has gradually fallen out of favor as outside ideas from Confucianism, Islam, etc. have discouraged people from doing this. So today, a textile tradition like batik, many people believe was perhaps originally created as a way to take the designs off people's bodies and place them on cloth as new ideas came along that discouraged people from engaging in tattooing. But by placing these designs on cloth, they nonetheless enabled the protective kind of powers of these designs to still perform their function. This batik cloth tradition points to another aspect of life that was probably shared by many in the past, and that was how they dressed, as a common practice across the region was to use a single piece of cloth and to wrap it around the body in one way or another. Then finally, some other commonalities were living in houses on stilts and engaging in similar forms of entertainment, from cockfighting to playing games like one known as dakra. Everything I've just said, however, has an exception to it. So at the end of the day, we're really stuck when we try to define what is Southeast Asia, because there really isn't anything clear and safe and solid that we can all agree on. That said, the one thing that I think the region does share is its modern history. Everyone across the region had to deal with colonialism, either directly or indirectly. Everyone had to deal with World War II, and everyone has lived in societies that have struggled since World War II to create post-colonial, post-World War societies. From our vantage point today, there are some of those societies who are economically have done very well, but it has been a challenge over these past 2 centuries, and this course documents the incredible challenges and transformations that took place over the past 200 years. So by not defining this region of Southeast Asia, I've hopefully provided some sense of a definition for it, because really I don't know how to define it, but this area does share a common modern history, which is a fascinating one, and that's what we're going to start looking at in the next video.